Baseball is canceled, at least for now. So, what does that look like? Hey, what's up? This is Ed Drummond with Capstone Realty Professionals. I am coming to you on this Friday, the 4th of March. What's up, Capstone family? Hey, I hope you're out there making it happen this week. Super excited for all the things behind the scenes that Capstone is doing. We feel like we definitely leveled up this week. More on that later. But hey, baseball's canceled. What does that really mean? Why are we even talking about it? For me, importance of this is that we've got a lot of Airbnbs here in the Valley that are looking at using this time. March has always been like the busiest month of Arizona, right? And if all these people aren't coming to Phoenix because it's canceled, because baseball's canceled, that's a lot of people that are not going to be living in these Airbnbs for the month, right? So what does that look like? So when I look back at the rental numbers on our site, if you look at that monthly average lease price per square foot, we peaked out last year. Looks like we peaked out in August of 2021. And at the end of last year, if you remember, I brought it up a few episodes ago. At the end of last year, we started seeing a downturn in rental prices because we were on this trajectory where we were just pushing the limits, and all of a sudden it started stalling out. This wasn't just us that saw it, it was the entire market. We saw over the last 3 months, October, November, December of last year, there was a little bit of a downturn, this lull in the market. What we know is that there were some substantial buyers in this marketplace that stopped buying at the time. I don't know if that has anything to do with the shift in rental values, but that's something to explore. What we're seeing, and when the conversations that I'm having right now with people when it comes to whether or not they should hold their property or whether or not they should continue to ride this thing out, right? What is this going to look like? When is the best time to sell? Or do you keep continuing to hold your property? When are we going to see downturns in the market? What does that look like? Well, one of the things that we've seen is that the rental values have been a leading indicator for what the market will do by way of selling. The biggest push to our bottom end pricing right now are these hedge funds that are buying just about everything they can get their hands on. This last week, a couple days ago, we closed on a property out in Buckeye, and we helped that buyer purchase the property 3.5, 4 years ago. She rented it out, decided that it was no longer for her. We cleaned the property up. When we went to comps, looked at the value and was like, all right, I'm looking at sales comps of 430, maybe 425, 430, 435. We've got 2 properties on the market that are pretty much model matches, or at least very similar in the 430, 440 range, that had been sitting. They went through last year's kind of little lull in the market, and they were sitting there through the end of the year. So we're like, they look a little stale. We went in, cleaned the property up, did a really good job, but then decided what price were we going to put it at. When talking to the owner, I was like, all right, well, we can definitely push the price. How much? I don't know. We thought, let's push it to like 465. Let's just see what happens. We go coming soon, 465. By the time we go active, the seller really wanted the 469 number. That number spoke to her. I said, you know what? Let's give it 10 days. Let's see what happens. The market's going to tell us what the market's going to tell us. If I'm grossly overpriced, I won't get any calls and nobody will, want to talk to me about this property. Lo and behold, we put it on the market. Crickets for 2 days. And then on the third day, we get an offer, and that offer is an investor offer for cash at $480,000. I didn't have a single showing scheduled on that property in the time that we put it on the market. I should have had 15 to 20 if we were priced right. I had none. We were so grossly overpriced, yet this investor came in and still went above and beyond where we had this listed. And to me, it was mind-numbing. It's something that you can't even make up, right? Because not only that, they're cash. They can close sometimes sooner. In this case, it was a 30-day closing. In this case, they're not asking for repairs because the property was pretty much new. We had just turned everything, fresh carpet, fresh paint. So it was in really, really, really good shape. They didn't ask for anything. So of course, the seller walks out just better than we could have ever expected, right? Which is amazing. But it gets back to that investor is still buying properties because rents are going up. Rents are continuing to go up. Now we're seeing almost this little bit of a flat line since last August. What's going to happen when those investors start seeing that the rent values, once we hit that threshold, it's no longer going to be as sexy to be spending $480,000 on a $430,000 property. Like, legit, I am the investor that cannot make those numbers happen. I can't go out there. These are hedge funds. These are guys with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, significantly more than what the average investor can be doing to pick these properties up to make the numbers make sense. But remember, they're hedging against inflation right now. They're putting their properties, their cash into a property that basically will somewhat continue to appreciate, and they're hedging against inflation, putting the cash in there so their cash is not going to be, reduced in value because it's sitting in a bank somewhere. So I think at the end of the day, once we start seeing these rental prices go down or start tapering a little bit, we might see these investors back out of the market, which will then start stabilizing our pricing. With baseball leads to these short-term rentals. With all these short-term rentals, we're seeing that, hey, these short-term rentals are doing a great job in keeping people fed on a certain level. I know a lot of people are really worried about this market right now because it seems so saturated on the short-term rental side, but those people are going to be coming over to the long-term side. When they see that model doesn't work for them, they're going to come over to our side, and that's going to help in compressing values even more, where now we've got some more properties coming into the swing of things, and it starts bringing that value down a little bit more, maybe then start stabilizing these rental values. That then leads to the values of the homes starting to stabilize as well. So rentals seem to be a leading indicator in this market, have been forever, as to, hey, what is happening. When the rentals are on a crazy tear like they are right now, that's when we're seeing, all right, prices are following as well. There's no reason for investors not to jump in this market when rents are just going through the roof like they are. So tying that back in together, that's the point I was trying to make with the baseball. I do think that there are a lot of opportunities that are still out there. I do see a lot of people that are really paying attention more to their numbers and realizing that the numbers that they're doing on the short-term side just don't quite equate to even what we're doing on the long term anymore, because it's just so much more work. There's so many more turns. So we will be seeing more of that after this. I'd say once we start hitting the summertime, we're going to get a lot more rentals on the market. So keep that in mind if you are renting your property out, or you've got a tenant that's coming up for renewal or anything like that. Like, keep it in mind. If it's coming this summer, we might have more competition than we've had in the past. Again, I didn't pull that anywhere from but myself. So if that doesn't happen, just come back to me and say, Ed, you were totally wrong. Cool with it. Cool. Hey, again, this is a great week for Capstone. We're going through some rebranding stuff, really understanding our messaging, bringing on some new teammates. We're in the interviewing phases. We're finding some amazing, amazing talent. Super cool. Changed up our recruiting model a little bit. I can share it with you if you're interested in hearing about it. But also finished up a book that I thought that great quote that I wanted to finish today with is by Rory Vaden, who wrote a book called Take the Stairs. And in Take the Stairs, it comes back to success is only rented. And that rent is due every day, right? And I love that. I thought that was so good. That's the hustle that we try to put in here, trying to fix things, change things, make things better each and every day. And with the team that we have, you all know them, you all love them. I mean, they are more and more, feeling more and more empowered every day to leave a legacy within this space. And I think at the end of the day, I hope that you feel that love that they're putting into the effort that they're putting out here. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and look forward to connecting again.